Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Caden B Fishing. And today we are heading back down to the dam that me and Alex were at in the other video. All by myself today, so we're gonna see if we can make something happen. All right, you guys, here we are down at the dam here. It's actually, for what it is right now, it's actually pretty shady, and I'm really appreciative of that because it's like 80 something degrees right now, 85 or something. I'm going to be throwing some tube jigs around for a little bit, and then I'm going to be throwing some worms. But last time me and Alex were here, we caught one little walleye, a couple suckers, and one bass, I think, something like that. There were some kids fishing up here, closer to where the water's coming out, and they were catching some pretty big fish too. So I'm going to start up there first, and then come over here and fish some worms. And I did not forget the fish towels today. Hopefully that is not going to jinx us. Now that we're getting into summer, I hope all of you guys are catching some big fish around here. That transition from spring to summer, that water's warming up, the fish are everywhere right now, running upriver and spawning. So I hope all you guys are catching big ones. Please, please send me the pictures. I want to see all the big fish you guys are catching. Hopefully I can catch some big fish for you guys today too. A lot of little bugs down here. They're not even mosquitoes, they're like little gnats or something. Got one. Got one right there. That's a good one. Good smallie. Probably shouldn't have flipped that one, but that's okay. There we are, starting her off right. Second cast, dude. Look at that guy. It's probably about 13. Judging by my shoe. My shoe's about 12 inches, so. Whoop. Back here, girl. It's a nice dark smallie too. You can see in the light, it's like really dark green brown. Nice. That's the kind of bass I'd use for bait right there. For like musky fishing. All right, fish towel being used. Look at that. All right, guys, that was like second cast. So I got high hopes. Oh yes, and the color of tube I'm using is known as a pumpkin, green pumpkin, I believe. This honestly is the best flavor you can use for fishing, in my opinion. So we're gonna be throwing this for a while today. I'm gonna cast around these pillars here just for a little while. That's where I caught that first one, was literally in the middle here. I just literally cast this out, let it sink to the bottom. I literally popped it up like 2 or 3 times, and then something had it right away. So I'm gonna fish this like this a couple times, and then I'm gonna go down here where I have my other stuff set up, where me and Alex were. I'm gonna throw a night crawler down in the bottom, let it sit for a bit, and I'll just kind of fish along this girder while I let that sit. And if we don't get much action there, I'm gonna move down here with the worm and throw that down here. So we shall see what happens. Oh, snagged. Got it out. Thought that was a fish. Actually, yes, I'm gonna need my pliers. Sometimes when you fish tube jigs, the hook, as I don't know if you guys can see this, but the hook is obviously bent open right now. That's because I snagged something down there, probably a rock. And that hook has bent from, you know, being curved in to basically like this. So what I'm gonna do is get my pliers, and I'm just gonna bend that back down so it's nice and straight. I have like, honestly, for tube jig fishing, like if you're gonna use these kind of lures, my advice, honestly, is to get some jig heads that are not the highest quality. Like the jig head I have on here isn't like super, super great. And the reason I don't want super, super great ones is because if that hook is super strong and super stiff, okay, yeah, if you hook a huge fish, it's not getting off like 100%. But if you snag a rock, it's not coming off that rock. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a little bit of a cheaper jig head, like I get these from Walmart. These are the only tube jigs I use in all my videos, catching all the fish I catch. And I don't lose fish usually on tube jigs from the hook bending out. But I do save a lot of money on lures and jig heads because I use the cheaper jig heads that will bend out when I'm on a rock, and then the hook will come out and then I get my bait back. And all I gotta do is take the pliers and just bend it back a little bit. You just gotta be a little careful when you bend it back so you don't just snap the hook right off. But just kind of throwing that out there in case you're like, well, I don't want to buy the cheap jig heads. It's like, well, you can, and everything should work fine, you know? So just throwing that out there just in case you guys were wondering. All right. Yeah, it's as simple as literally get your pliers, just whatever pliers you use. Clear the tails off of the way. I grab below the barb. I don't want to actually grab the barb itself. Like that. You guys can see that. The barb is in front of the pliers. And you just hold below the bait and you just bend the hook towards the bait a little bit. See now, instead of it being like up, it's like curved like it's supposed to be. So yeah. All right, we're gonna throw the worm down now, just to kind of get that going and rolling. I do need to retie, so let me get this guy set up here. I'll start you guys back up in a minute once I have the worm ready to cast. All right, you guys, while I was washing my hands after putting on worms on my pole, I found a little friend here, which it's his lucky day, because I will not be using him for bait today, mostly because the frogs are just coming out, so I don't think most of the fish are on them just yet. Plus, he's cute. Usually I would use him for bait, not gonna lie, but I have a ton of worms today and a bunch of lures, and this kind of place right now, the catfish I do not believe are up here yet. So I mean, you can catch more than just catfish and frogs, obviously bass, but I'm pretty comfortable with what I got today. But I just wanted to show you guys. Nice little dude here, little fella, to which shall be released back into the wild where he belongs. Bye, buddy. Be careful out here. There's people fishing, and if they get you, they're gonna use you. All right, guys, we are all ready to go. So let's catch some fish. So far, we got one smallmouth bass. So we're heating up. We're doing good. I see a bunch of suckers in the water in front of me here, over in the sunny area. Looks like one little walleye sitting on the bottom right there as well. Little guy, probably about, I don't know, that big. So hopefully there's some big boys over here. All right, you guys, well, we made it down here. We've caught one smallmouth bass so far. I'm trying out my new hands-off experience here with the little tripod I have going. We have a nice worm pole right here. You might not be able to see the pole, but there's a ton of fish around here. I've had a few surfacing around here I've watched, and who knows? Might catch something, might not. On the bottom, we are going to be having a night crawler, sinker, swivel. It's really nice because in front of me here, you'll probably be able to see in the GoPro video, the water's pretty calm. There's only one of the dam chambers open. See if I can show you guys. There's not a way to flip this around. Anyway, only one of the chambers is open. The rest of them are closed. So there's actually not a ton of water flowing, which is not bad. I think we are going to be in pretty good shape. Pretty much just waiting for a bite now. But while this is kind of doing its thing down on the bottom, I am going to be throwing a tube jig. Surprise, surprise. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to find a good spot to set you up here. Green pumpkin. I'll be throwing that around while we wait for a bite. I was really hoping to catch something while this was going. We'll see. If anything, I'll just start this back up when I get a bite. Or when I've hooked something already. All right, you guys, we're back. I literally casted once down the girder here, hooked a walleye. Not a big one, but a nice one. This is the one I saw sitting down there. When I walked by to wash my hands, there was one little walleye. I saw him sitting on the bottom. And of course, the hook is in there. All right, you guys, check that out. Nice little walleye there, little guy. Say about 12-incher. Of course, you guys, as I turned the phone camera off, caught a nice little walleye. Literally seconds after I turned it off. Back he goes. It's a good thing we got the fish towels. That was crazy. I literally casted it down where I saw the walleye was before. I literally felt it sink to the bottom, and the second it touched the bottom, I went to jig it, and I felt the tip of my pole just go doink. Hooked him immediately. So let's try that again. No way, I got another one. Got another one, something bigger. Oh yeah. Big smallmouth bass, big smallmouth bass. All right. Not huge, but a nice one. Definitely a nice one. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to go down here to land this guy. We cannot flip this one. Well, we could flip it, but I feel like that's just asking for trouble. Please nothing steal my pole off the bank. Let's land this guy quick. Okay, we're gonna attempt to flip. No, we're not. We're gonna just go down and grab him. There we go. Oh, and the tube jig fell right out. Look at that. Didn't even have to unhook him. About another 13-incher. Heck yeah. Look at that guy. Nice. All right, you guys. We are gonna attempt to get film of me catching it standing here in front of you, instead of you guys only seeing from here. I literally just caught a walleye and a bass from here while this was stopped. So, let's do that. I'm gonna recast my worm pole here quick. I feel like it's getting no attention at all. I'm not necessarily sure why. Usually the worm pole is what is going crazy the whole time, and I can barely keep any fish off of it. So we're gonna set that up a little bit closer to the girder here instead of further out. Maybe that'll help us out. Well, while that's happening, I'm gonna cast this guy, tube jig, back down the girder, kind of just watch this in the meantime. So this is crazy. The worm pole is literally not even getting hit. Like, they're not even stealing the worm off it or anything, they're just not even touching it, which is crazy. And yet they're going after the soft plastics. I don't understand that. I will see you guys in a little bit. Give this about 3 more minutes. And if we don't get any bites on the worm, we're gonna move up closer to the dam here, because I think that's where the fish are gonna be. Yeah, literally haven't lost any night crawler at all. Still got the full worm on. All right, you guys, I got the worm pole all in place, and I'm currently retying because I broke off my tube jig. Oops. And my worm pole, I believe, is getting tapped on right now. So I'm kind of just letting whatever happens, happens. And if we get a big enough bite, hopefully we catch something. I'm not sure if it's current. That's kind of tugging on it. You guys might be able to see it in the background there. It's literally like right there. Perfect right there. So I basically whipped way underneath the the pillars under here, this big, as you can see behind me, this big tube. And there's like little concrete pillars in between, and then there's like a space underneath. So I casted the worm up underneath that pillar. Like basically, there. But not in the current one, the one next to it. That's calm. So, right where I saw the big carp go. Maybe we'll get lucky. But while that's happening, I'm just gonna throw this guy around. Maybe if I leave it there for long enough, something can happen. I can see huge carp down there right now, swimming around. Big ones. Monster carp. They're spawning, they have to be. Yeah, so I'm just literally gonna leave that worm pole down there, and hopefully one of them will just grab it. Catch a huge, like 20-pound carp. That'd be dope. Yeah, there's just some tank suckers down there. I'm watching them swim around. Jesus. Probably not gonna be able to see them on the camera, but they're like swimming all around underneath where I casted the worm. Like they're just cruising around. So I'm assuming the big female in the middle, I'm assuming that's the female, because usually like in carps and stuff like that, when they're spawning, the males would just chase the female around until she's ready to spawn. Yeah, because none of those carp are even like sitting. They're all just continuously moving. I don't think they want anything. At least they're not acting like it. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop the video here for now. If anything interesting happens, I'll start it back up again. Like I said, I'm just gonna be throwing this purple tube around for a little while, waiting for the worm pole to have any bites. So far, we've had literally not a single bite on the worm pole, which is absolutely insane. I've never had that happen before. But we're gonna keep letting that one sit for a bit, and then I'll do an outro if it gets to that. So, see you guys in a bit. All right, you guys, well, we caught two pretty decent bass, a little walleye. We saw a bunch of suckers and carp in the water, but we just can't get them to bite today. That just is what it is. Gonna dip on out. It's getting pretty hot out here, and gonna make my way back to the car. So we'll see you guys in the next one.